Midnight, 16th of December 1994. Shiji Lapite is walking home. He is stopped by 2 police officers. 30 minutes later, he is dead.
I never ever thought I could find myself in such a situation. You know, at that time I didn't know what to think because I just had my baby as well. He was only 6 weeks old. I couldn't really digest the thought of him dying, you know.
A minute silence, please.
Oh, yeah.
So, somebody in the police force killed him. And if you can wake him up and go, if you can wake him up, you have to really create him. Yeah. That's why you put my husband, kill me. Kill me and very me with him. They beat him to death. They beat him to death. They killed him. Why should they kill? Why? 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 Why?
I think as we're standing here today reflecting on his memory, we should spare a little thought as well on wondering on how many other occasions has black people gathered on a few square feet of paving stone to try and come to terms with the way that one of us has actually lost our lives. Stoke Newington police station has a horrendous history. And Shiji Lapite is an addition to that terrible list.
In January 1983, 17-year-old Colin Roach was shot in Stoke Newington police station. The shock of his death led local people to set up a community centre in his memory.
The first case it took up in earnest was in January 1989, and it was running about 2 cases a week that were reported to the organisation of violence by Stoke Newington or Hackney police officers. That's covering 2 divisions of the Metropolitan Police. We're talking about commonly a low level of violence, which is a punch in the face or arm twisted up behind the back, 1 kick or something like that, where a police officer may forget himself at best, or at worst has actually deliberately assaulted a member of the public.
Pamela Sims, whose mother, Sita Sims, was killed in the old Stoke Newington police station in May 1971, will now lay a wreath in memory of all the people who have suffered and died in police custody over the years. have a further minute silence.
Brian Douglas was born in Balham, South London, on the 29th of October 1961. He was one of 6 children.
Growing up with Brian was fun. He was always the more gentle of all of us, compared to Peter, who was younger. Brian usually took on the role as the youngest one. He was a premature baby, and we all said that my mum had him as her favourite.
My dad had me when he was 50, so that we used to work a lot hard, you know, we used to work hard, believe you me. Before we went to school in the mornings, we'd work hard. And yeah, it was tough, but it was good, you know.
He liked the usual things Brian did as a young man, going out, partying. He got on well with people, though. He was a people person. It was hard not to like him.
I met Brian in the early 80s, and he was introduced by a friend of mine in a club, and it just went from there. We just sort of hit it off. And I used to see him at different places, different venues, and I used to go out, wine bars. He was like the life and soul of the party, really.
For Brian to get ready to go out, you're talking, you know, sort of 9 o'clock at night. And I'd come home from work, from nursing night duty or finished an evening shift, and I'd come in and the house would reek of aftershave. And this was Brian in his getting ready mode. You know, probably a glass of wine, and he loved heat, he loved warmth, so that the house was just baking hot, and he's there with music going, and he's getting in his party mood. And the shirt would be pressed, and the trousers would be creased, and the shoes shined, and that was Brian.
We used to go out nearly all the time together. We'd go to the gym together, to cinema, wine bars. He'd meet me from work. Went to Jamaica a couple of times on holiday. That was great. We used to do everything together, you know.
Together with a friend of his called Sydney, they really got into boxing and wanted to promote young boxers. And, I mean, as a teenager, you always loved sport, and it was just sort of a natural thing for him to now gravitate to something like boxing, which he enjoyed. I mean, we grew up with Muhammad Ali and sitting around watching that as a child, and my father was a really enthusiastic person about that.
He'd done lots of things, like football, boxing. He was a boxing promoter. I'd done the boxing, actually, but he was a boxing promoter. He was into the football, into the music. He used to keep a lot of dances. You know, he was full of life, man.